Penny Jake, the tribe has spoken.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Aw, fuck you too, sweetie.
I'm JJ, one of the original Tribe of Nerds members. You can catch me on Marvel, Pokemon, and other gaming podcasts.
What up? It's Josh, resident superhero nerd, but I also dabble in the occasional super villain as well.
Some may know me as the Chaos Gremlin, but really I'm just Joe King.
Pikachu, use Volt Tackle! Good job, Pikachu!
On the Tribe of Nerds.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tribe of Nerds. Kevin and I are here for Survivor 48, Episode 2. And Kevin, tell us why you have lost another player from your draft team.
Listen, I don't know why I thought this was going to go differently. Do you know how many times I have played an online game and been the second boot? Do you know how many times? I lost how many times, lost track of how many times that happened. I should have known. I could kind of see early on in the episode too. I was like, he's right, but he's pushing too early and it's going to give him too much of a chance to respond.
Right.
When you make a move like that, you have to wait till the last second.
Yeah.
And you can't organize the blind side a day in advance.
Yeah, that was definitely probably Kevin's mistake, was plotting and scheming too much. But I don't know.
You have to sit on that information and you have to wait for the right moment to drop it. So anyway, I should have known this would happen to someone named Kevin. It's fine. I picked up the boat anchor that is Star. Although I did see a glimmer of hope in Star in this episode. When Shaheen was talking about no, I'm not gonna completely lose the clue.
Right.
No, Thomas. That's too evil. I was like, yes, dislike Thomas. Vote out Thomas.
Yeah, I will get to that, but I can totally see that going a different way for sure.
Not that I think Star has winning potential, but maybe I won't have the first 3 boots on my team.
Yeah, let's hope. We don't want to give Sarah more ammo against you.
In my defense, how are we Jeremy who hosts Power Grab. Jeremy picked Stephanie as his winner pick for this season, right?
So did Joe.
Right, there was a lot of people who were misdirected by the stuff that was put out there this season. So, which props to the producers for that. And maybe they're still doing it with the edit. Maybe they're still trying to convince us that people who are going to do well aren't going to do well.
True. All right, well, let's get into it. So, the events of this episode, we have Vula, Kevin is wary of Say, which is going to set that up later. But the other stuff that's happening, the Orange Tribe, Siva is talking about their humble traits. So we have David having 3 or 4 nipples. Chrissy has
4 nipples. I noticed that in the first episode. So he had the 2 little dots and they were perfectly symmetrical. And I was like, those are too symmetrical to be like a scratch from the challenge or something, but they're too small to be a tattoo. Does he have extra nipples?
Oh my!
And then he did. And I was like, ha!
It's so weird. Chrissy has a belly button that goes very deep, and Charity has messed up feet. So.
The body dysmorphia on that tribe is real.
Yeah, so that was an interesting thing to kind of open up the episode. How this
another tribe with feet issues.
Yeah. Well, Joe and Ryan, when I did their recap on their channel the day after, which you should also subscribe to as well as ours, but they brought up, like, this is the same thing with D and 45. D talked about her feet and how
Yes,
like help
yes.
in a challenge, but difference here is Charity is very clearly being set up as like an easy boot on this tribe. So
yeah, I think Charity, I think Mitch, just because he went on the journey,
Yep.
there's gonna be some like distrust of like he has an advantage. And as somebody pointed out during the episode, he's the only one who's like nice to Charity. And they're like, bro, Charity's on the bottom. Why are you hanging out with her?
Right.
So, but like, that's sad. I like Mitch.
I do too. I really do. I mean, we'll get to it at the challenge. I did like a moment that they gave him.
Yes.
But we'll get there. Loggy. So then we have a lot, like about half the episode, I think, is spent over here, which made me think, okay, they might actually go to tribal.
I thought they were going to tribal.
Yeah. So kudos to the editors on that. But Star finds the cipher or the clue for the idol, decides to tell everyone.
Tells everyone. The whole tribe knows, except Eva. And obviously, Eva's going to find out when you tell everyone else, Star.
Right. She
also said something super interesting when like in around this section, she was talking about how like no one had really been talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's been like a little afraid to start game talk with people. And I'm like, girl, they were making alliances on day one. Like, you need to get caught up.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Star's not in a great place.
No, I don't think Star is going to be that good of a player. Like, I think she's going to be one of those wild cards. Like, maybe she makes it farther because Loggy doesn't lose anybody. And maybe... if she gets, you know, she has an idol and she blah, 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 blah. Right. Like all this stuff. Like, okay, sure. She makes it to the mid game. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know. As you mentioned, with what happened with Shaheen and being like, we'll get there with Thomas later, but like, I liked how he was thinking about it, and like, he's not going to purposely help screw Star over, but like, he's kind of in that middle where he's not really going to help her find it either. Right,
like he's gonna kind of wild goose chase her, which is fine because then like maybe like. That's actually the smart thing to do, right? Because of exactly what happened, where now you have somebody you're like, well, actually, maybe I don't want Star out. And then you can work with that and be like, oh, hey, actually, I thought of this thing. And they're like, oh, that's the genius thing. And you're like, yeah, okay, great. Let's go get this idol and save you, right? And like, you were actually the one in control of that whole situation. So like,
yeah,
good on him. And like, I talk a lot of shit about Thomas, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know what Thomas ever did to me. Thomas is probably a lovely, funny person. Mm-hmm. He's the one on the season that I don't like, and so.
My God.
So I am all for taking him out instead of Star. Whose team? Who picked Thomas for their team?
Let me just check real quick.
It's someone Cameron would pick, but it might have been Sarah.
Yes, Cameron has Thomas.
Yeah, that seems like a Cam pick.
All right, so we'll get there in a minute. Joe does tell Eva Star is after her, and it does stem from this conversation of like Eva's basically talking about someone sitting out and just says, Star, you can sit out, which I mean,
that is such a like. I mean this with like love in my heart for people with autism. Like this is such an autistic thing to do. Like just like very bluntly and like yeah. So like we want the puzzle people and we want the strength people. So like you sit out. Like it's like there's no ill intent.
Right. Exactly.
But Star did not take you well.
No, and so,
for good reason. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
But like it was very like to watch it from the outside was just amusing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why Star would take it the way she did, but I do believe, like, Eva's just, I mean, she is just not going to see it the way that Star is.
Right.
So, and that's fine. But yeah, so Joe tells Eva Star is after her, which, again, like, this relationship is coming into play. I really, truly believe that Eva's going to be fine on this tribe because Joe's going to protect her. So.
Well, yeah. Well, and now you've got, so there's the three boys, right? The three guys working together. they each now have like a girl partner, right? Because
Yes.
Shaheen is working with Star on The Idol, and Joe is working with Eva because they're like father-daughter adorable.
Right.
And then Thomas and Bianca are like being annoying together. I don't know why I don't like them. It's just funny. Anyway, so like they each kind of have a like buddy. So that's very interesting. I think it was super interesting too to see Joe have kind of the hero dilemma of like he wanted to be honest, he wanted to be nice to everybody, he wanted to be respectful, but then everybody trusts you, and you have to vote for somebody, right? Like that's always the thing in these games. Like you do have to vote for someone, like,
right.
And you have to keep yourself in. You have to make sure it's not you, and therefore you have to make sure it is one of the people who trusts you. And like seeing him like grapple with that dilemma, come down on the side of Eva, absolutely. Like I would too, but also like I think editing wise, like storytelling wise, I think that's a very interesting position to put him in.
Right. Agreed. I mean it's either he's the reason she is saved, or like he sacrifices his game for her at some point.
I would not be shocked to see a late game sacrifice by him in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Fire making, giving up immunity, something.
Right.
Something like in some sort of way, he goes knowing that like she's going to get to continue forward.
Right.
I could see that very much being a thing, but I think he is very much like, sometimes we get heroes who like trip over themselves, right? Like that they don't realize that this is the dilemma they have. He very much realizes it, and he's trying to navigate it. And so I think he's going to be a very like we're going to like Joe. Right. Joe's going to be one of our favorite characters of the season.
Yeah, he's the modern day Tom Westman. Like
even better. Like, he's great.
Yeah. All right, so we get now to our journey. So Mitch, Mary, and Thomas go to the journey, even though it was supposed to be Say, but the whole like number thing got screwed up because it was supposed to be.
They had to do a practice run.
Yeah.
Listen. It was so funny to me that like they all kind of secretly didn't want Say to have another advantage, so they were like, "No, that was the practice round."
It was so good.
And they're all like, "No, yeah, we said that was the practice round." Mary, what number do you want to choose this time?
Oh, it's so good. All right, so they go on this journey, and so they have to choose different paths, and they have to do this timed number puzzle where they have to push the numbers off and try to get them to get sorted into the correct order in the right amount of time. Mitch and Thomas do win. Mitch wins the block a vote, and Thomas wins the steal a vote. Mary loses her vote. So
yeah, this was. I'm sure if I had it in front of me, it would be easier. But like imagining how to play this was a very difficult thing, because Thomas even said at one point, he was like, "Yeah, if you get the whole first round order and then you get the whole second round order, then you're screwed, because then the third row is just never going to be in order." Right. So like you can't just do that. And I was like, "That's so true." Like, so yeah, you had to be very careful about it. But it seemed like they had a decent amount of time on the clock. I mean, 2 of the 3 of them finished it. So it seemed like they had a decent amount of time to work with. It was interesting that they all got, I assume that Mary's would have been an extra vote, right? Because they got a block a vote, a steal a vote.
Yeah.
So probably an extra vote. I would prefer that it be the same thing, but I understand why it's not.
Yeah, because I mean they chose different paths, so I totally get why they are doing this twist the way they were doing it. So
yeah, but yeah, that was. They were even showing on the screen like how to move them, and I was like, "You're going too fast!" Like I need to set up. I need to take my index cards. I need to write numbers on them, and I need to figure out how to do this.
Right. I think I need to figure it out too. It definitely seems actually fun. All right, so then Mitch tells everyone back at camp, which makes the other four sus of him and Charity, because then he goes and has the conversation with Charity, and the other four are, with each other. Thomas lies about it, and yeah, I mean, we don't really Mary Say is a little suspicious, but I mean, like, she also kind of comes clean as well. So
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate Mitch's honesty.
yeah.
Like, I think that speaks to, like, him as a person. I think in that scenario, the way that journey was set up, I would have lied. I would have been like, yeah, so we had a thing, and we could choose to, like, we had to go on a separate path, and we had to choose if we were going to play the game or not. And if we chose to play the game, we risked our vote, and I didn't want to risk my vote, so I didn't play the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good lie. I mean, I have trouble lying, but I think that's a pretty easy lie.
It's like, no one's there with you.
Right.
Like, it's fine. I would absolutely lie and be like, yeah, I didn't, like, it wasn't worth risking my vote for. I didn't even know what the advantage was going to be. So hopefully it wasn't something great, because, like, I didn't get it. But I would absolutely lie, and I would absolutely be, like, trying to figure out that puzzle. I guess you want to leave, like, you want to, like, start to put each row in order kind of as you go. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I feel like I'd need it in front of me as well to figure out what I would do, but
give me a marker.
yeah. All right, and then the other thing that happens before we get to the immunity challenge is that Kyle does find the beware advantage. He cannot solve this the lock puzzle, so he gives it to Camilla, and she solves it for him. So now
I love that, like, we, like, as much as they've made it more obvious, right? Like, you're seeing the things all around camp. You're seeing the symbols, and you're like even as players, before you find the beware advantage, you're like, well, that's something, right? Like, that matters. I love that they're all, number one, they're all slightly different. It's all the same. It's even the same letters, right? Because it was listen and enlist, which means the other one is probably, like,
silent,
something else with those letters.
Yeah.
But, like, even with having the stuff, like, right there, they can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
They need help. I'm so amused by that. Like, and like, not in a hateful way. Like, I'm so amused, like, they're not sleeping, they're not eating, their brains are foggy, and they're like, I don't know, I got some letters. I don't, like, because as soon as she said she tried listen and it wasn't listen, I was like, oh, then it must be enlist. Yeah. But, like, I'm sitting here I eat 4 meals a day, right? Like, eating all my meals, sleeping plenty, just, like, doing my regular job. My life is fine. I'm not foggy. These poor people are like, what's that shape? Is that animal?
Yeah. No, but hey, at least Kyle is an idol. At least one of your team members is doing something correct.
I know. Well, and I have Camilla now too.
Yes, that's true. So you got 2 people in a great position right now.
Yeah. And Charity just, like, over there jealous.
Yeah. I still can't believe last week she thought she saw the 2 of them bonding and thought it'd be a good idea to throw one of them under the bus to the other. Like, just ridiculous gameplay. But
yeah, sometimes, like, social dynamics just kind of form, and you're just kind of on the outs, and that just happens, right? And so, like, that seems to be just what happened to her, and so she's just talking to try to, like, well, I don't know. What do you think about Kyle? Like, just a panic. So I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that does happen. You get nervous and just blurt out something. All right. So we get to the immunity challenge. We do get this moment with Mitch about his speech impediment and, like, Jeff addressing, like, the correct way to,
I love and hate how like, this has to be a conversation that Jeff had.
Yeah.
In like way early on in casting,
Right,
with
casting,
Mitch,
yeah.
right. This is something, but then like Jeff asks it like it's a genuine question, but like Jeff, you already know the answer to this, but
Yeah.
like asks it so that Mitch can be the one to say it,
Right.
and like Mitch can speak for himself, and like so like I hate that Jeff plays dumb because like you're not dumb, Jeff. You already know the answer to this question,
Right.
but like I love that he gives Mitch the opportunity to say it for himself and be like, yeah, just like give me the extra second to say what I want to say.
Yeah, I loved this moment. It's really interesting how Jeff like pretends to not know things, like, and even like the casuals that get like are confused that Jeff doesn't know things. I'm like, do you people not understand that he literally helps cast all these people? Like,
Right.
It just is crazy to me.
Right. He talks to them at length in the casting process.
Yeah.
He's not asking this question for the first time. They've had this conversation, but like,
right.
But it's so great that Mitch then gets to say it and like say it for himself, but also say it for anybody else who, like Mitch, like has a diagnosed or undiagnosed impediment. You know, that like give them a second to finish their thought. And like it doesn't cost you anything.
Right. Right. I agree completely. Yeah, it's something to kind of learn as well as you go, and you know, you may have conversations with people that deal with that impediment every day, and so you just kind of learn about it and you know, learn how to better handle it and talk to them and treat them like a normal person like you would everybody else. So all right. So then the immunity challenge itself, for fishing kit and immunity, they have to dive off the platform. They have to get the buoys, and then they have to put them on like the sticks and try to balance with each other. And then they have to get across and then shoot them into the basketball hoop. So it's kind of combining a lot of different elements. Also had like the keel hauling element from Survivor Pearl Islands, where they have to like drag themselves underneath the like platform, the dock. So I really enjoyed this challenge. I feel like this might be some my favorite challenges from the new era, at least so far.
I like that challenges are not just copy and pasted.
Yes.
Right? Because for the first like 4 seasons of the new era, it was just the same challenges again. Even through 5 and 6 too, a lot of them were the same. So like I love that we're getting new types of challenges. Like, good. You have the ocean right there.
Right, exactly.
It's right there.
Exactly.
You also got Kevin's hilarious dive. What dive was that, Kevin? What was that?
Yeah, that was really funny. Obviously Cedric fails epically. You do have some great moments. Joe throws the ball like the entire length of a football field.
Right.
Then Joe and Eva are able to work together to get the balls in, and Mitch aces every single one for him.
Mitch, where did that come from?
Yeah. I mean,
Mitch is just this like adorably nerdy little guy, and he's just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like,
yeah, I think because Joe and Eva had to figure it out too, because they were missing at first too. Eva hit 3 of them, but then they had to figure out how to like get the last couple. But I think what Mitch nailed, I think the granny shot is definitely the best way to get it in, because you have the ability to like aim it where you want to, and it's like a little lob where it can more easily like go in. So I don't know, like, because if you throw it too hard, it's gonna bounce out or
Right. And like ultimately it didn't really matter because Green was so far behind because Cedric was so bad at this challenge.
Yeah, this was really bad. My dad said this is one of the worst challenge performances he's ever seen, which is crazy. I mean, this is definitely up there. I think there's been a lot of bad challenge performances in Survivor history. I mean, naturally after 48 seasons.
Right. There's a lot of bad ones, but like a lot of them too are more like this one. So many other people were able to do the same thing so successfully, right? Or like even tripped once, but like got back up and figured out. Like, it was clearly something that could be figured out.
Right.
So like that was the frustration, right? Like sometimes it like Debbie on the balance beam holding the balls on her hand, right? Like she's trying to hold the balls from falling off the plate, and she's on the balance beam, and like she said she was good at balance, and it wasn't Brad Culpepper's fault.
Yeah.
I don't like Brad Culpepper. I won't blame for this one. But like, yes, that was a terrible performance, but only like what 4 people in the whole cast had to do that. Right. So like maybe it looks extra bad when she can't do it because it just so happens that the other 3 are really good at it. But like basically everybody else, there was only 3 people who didn't do that part of the challenge, and they all did it. So like that's what I think makes it look extra bad.
Right. Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, you also have some other good moments. I mean, David does like a stunt roll. Jeff even calls it out, so that was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, any other moments from this challenge that you noticed?
Kevin's hilarious dive. I think we should also call out Mary for keeping up with the 2 strong guys in that first part.
Yeah.
Like you would have thought going into the challenge, like that she would have fallen way behind them, and she was a little bit, but she was keeping up with them. So like,
yeah, kudos to Mary. Yeah. So then we go to the scramble. So Cedric gets back and accepts responsibility for the loss. He said, if you want to vote me out, I understand. Kevin already.
You get out of my TV right now, Cedric.
Oh my God.
I get so annoyed by people who do things like that. Like I understand the you've bonded with these people, you feel bad, like making them stab each other in the back when it's your fault. And like, I understand all of that. And like, isn't he a doctor? Like he has money. He doesn't need $1 million.
A surgeon, yeah.
He doesn't need $1 million. So like, bitch. Maybe it's because I am a teacher in the 50th state for teacher pay. There's $1 million on the line. I am not rolling over and saying, you can go ahead and vote me out. No, ma'am.
Yeah, that was a bit like, ooh, that's not.
So I did not appreciate that. And then I'm torn because I don't think we've seen enough to know like how like close he is with Say, right? So like we've seen a lot of Joe and Eva, so like we know that those 2 are very close. We haven't seen as much, like we've heard the words, but we haven't seen it as much between Say and Cedric, I feel like.
Right.
So if this was Joe and Eva, I would absolutely expect Joe to not only warn Eva, but to like somehow try to flip the vote off of her, right? But like we haven't seen as much from Cedric, so then I'm also annoyed with him because of the strategery that goes on in this pre-tribal time.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I wish we would have seen more from this relationship because it's obviously going to lead to what happens now. So after Kevin is targeting Say, Cedric does expose this plan to Say and tells her to play her idol. And initially I was like, okay, so they're just gonna idol out Mary potentially here. But then
I knew when he told Say that it was Kevin, I was like, oh, Kevin's cooked because she was gonna vote for him. Like I knew that was going to happen from the moment he told. And I was like, damn it, Cedric, why do you got to get me voted out?
Yeah. And then Justin decides as well that he would rather take the shot at Kevin. So ultimately we are going to get to tribal. Say goes off again at tribal. Say does play her idol, and Kevin is outside.
I love a spicy, strong, independent woman.
Yes.
Go off, Say.
It was funny to just watch her go off yet again, and also like I thought Kevin was catching on because by this point, after that last minute scramble, I'm like Kevin's in trouble, and the fact that he didn't actually catch on and like play his shot in the dark is just crazy.
Right, and make it a live tribal. If you know you're on the show and make it a live tribal. Make it fun for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but you catch on there, like, hold on, Justin, should we do this?
Yeah.
Right. And like, I thought he and Justin, after last week, when he was walking in the jungle with Justin, they were talking about how like they could be the ones to decide. I thought like he and Justin were therefore super close.
Yeah, I thought so too. But
And like Justin just cold stabbed him in the back.
yeah, this early. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's not I still think it's a dumb move on most of their parts, because now you have 4 people on that tribe. That's probably going to be the disaster tribe. They're probably going to lose at least one more.
Yeah.
And you have a pair in Cedric and Say, right? Like Cedric, even if you didn't know how close they were, you can figure out fairly quickly that Cedric told Say.
Mm-hmm.
So you're now, if you are Justin, you're now positioning yourself for 3rd in that group.
Yes.
Which, like, I think is a bad move. I think it makes more sense to stick with Kevin and be like, hey, we can't trust Cedric. He already went to Say. Say's probably going to vote for you now. We've got to do something else. And like, okay, flip the vote onto Cedric. Fuck him.
Yeah, I feel like I would have definitely considered doing that. I mean, I think Kevin's main mistake, I mean, yeah, he schemed and plotted too much, but I really think his main mistake was not taking the shot at Say last week. So if he had taken the shot then instead of at Stephanie, like potentially, like he could still be in this game.
Right. No, but it makes sense to keep Say in the first vote. That's fine. Like it's the first vote. Stephanie and Mary are clearly on the outs.
Mm-hmm.
But like also he's supposed to be close to Mary and didn't tell Mary that Stephanie was going to go. It's very,
yeah.
He made some very glaring mistakes, and like it's not surprising he got voted out. But yeah, I think from Justin's perspective, I think setting yourself up for 3rd, because if they come down to 2 people, which has happened in the new era,
yeah,
right?
Shannon Ricard, yeah,
right. If that happens again, he's gonna be on the outs, and like he's already now positioned to where if they decide that they want to keep Mary for some reason, now he's like they can take him out easy. You know, like. I just think it was a bad move on his part. I think either stick to the plan and take Mary out and like whatever, she can't do anything about it, or flip it on to Cedric because you can't take Say out because she has the idol. Can't take Say out, take out Cedric. Like
right.
Split up that duo. He was in a duo. He could have been in the position that he is now on the bottom of. Like, I'll have to get rid of the guy who's named after me. God damn it.
Sadly. Yeah, I mean, anything else from this episode before we hit draft check-in and predictions? I mean, we already technically had a check-in, but whatever.
No, just disappointing. I mean, I guess I can be the first Kevin to do well on Survivor still.
Hopefully. Yeah, we can hope. We can hope season 51.
Right? Because I didn't get a call back about 49, so it's not looking good for that or 50.
Sadly. So yeah, draft check-in, we've already said it. So Kevin has lost 2 people as Camille and Star as the alternates. Oh, it's really funny. But if only Sarah was on here to taunt Kevin. But
no, it's fine. The less I have to hear from her in general, the better. Whatever. She picked Charity just based on Charity being hot, and Charity's going to get voted out soon. So whatever.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And like I said, thankfully it happened after the 2nd episode so that she can't just pick up a replacement.
Yeah, true. I mean, now at this point, yeah, whoever loses picks, they're just down a pick from now on. So that's the good news.
So when Star finally goes, I'll be down to 3. I mean, at least I have one person on each team, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I have Say, I have Camilla and Kyle, and I have Star. So I have somebody from every tribe.
Yeah.
Predictions. I mean, I think Green is going to continue to be in trouble because, like, clearly the problem with Cedric, and Cedric is going to continue to be there, and he's going to continue to be there because he's in the position to do that, unless now that the idol is going to be rehidden because Say used it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody else gets it and does something interesting with it. I think Justin is dumb for what he did, so I think he's going to feel those repercussions. I am cautiously hopeful for my draft team, though in purple, like the California girls split up and Thomas goes, but also just kind of selfishly because I just I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm sorry, Thomas. You are probably delight. You are probably so much fun and like way cooler than me in every way. I recognize this. As a fan of reality TV, I have people that I root for and against, and you, unfortunately, sir, are the one that I'm rooting against. So I am hopeful that that's how that happens. And then Orange. I mean. Orange, Cherry's out.
Yeah.
Bye, Charity. And if they lose again, I think unfortunately Sweet Little Mitch is out.
Yeah, sadly. I don't want it to happen, but
and who else? So then Camilla is clearly the strategic mastermind on Orange.
Yeah, I definitely see that. It's definitely her. Kyle is working with her, so Kyle's completely fine.
Yeah. It's her and Kyle.
Christy's just along for the ride. David's there for their muscle. Like they're gonna them around.
Yes. So I think that they will justify Mitch being on the outs and say, well, he's got this advantage, so like we have to take him out. But really, it's just that like you're friends with the girl who's on the outs.
Yeah, and
she's on the outs, so that puts you on the outs. If they go, they might not even. Green just might keep on losing. They might get down to 14.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm wondering if, like, let's say they lose all 5 leading up to earn the merge, assuming that ends up at 13. It has the last few. Like, yeah, we could have a Stephanie LaGrossa situation.
Yeah. I mean, because if the problem is Cedric, which it very much seemed like the problem was Cedric, the problem was not Kevin. I'm always the problem, but that's not the point. Cedric was the problem in the challenge, so he's not going anywhere because he's with Say. Say's not going anywhere, so like, be prepared for them to lose again and again and again and again. And then if they have to do some fire making challenge, I wonder. It would be like such sweet irony if Say protects him, and they just keep losing, and then he wins a fire making challenge.
Oh my god, I would die. I mean, he has so many confessionals. I can see something happening. I mean, either that's gonna happen because she's such a big pre-merge character, or she is like the Stephanie LaGrossa and makes it out of there.
No, I think that's probably more likely.
Yeah,
if that happens. I mean, I don't care about Justin. Bummer for Mary.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think if somebody from one of the other tribes goes in these first in the pre-merge, it'll be Charity. Like she's getting the most like she's getting the least to do and the most being on the like. Star at least had that moment of like finding the beware advantage. Like they kind of dunked on her in the premiere, but then she did find it and she is using it to make allies. Like maybe there's a chance that like, and plus they're so strong. I think Purple probably just doesn't lose.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
And so Star makes it a while. I think if Orange loses, it's going to be Charity. Like,
yeah. We know that. Yeah, I'm agreeing with all of that. I think I was going to say I could see if Purple loses, maybe Shaheen does throw Thomas under the bus, like because of not believing him, because he did say something about that. And if that's coming up in the edit, then maybe that leads to a Thomas boot if they go to Tribal.
Which I'm fine with, obviously.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, Thomas is now your John Locke of this.
Listen, John Locke is a character who is written, and he is written to appeal to certain people and not appeal to other certain types of people. Thomas is just himself.
Yes.
And I'm very sorry, Thomas. I'm very sorry that I say mean things about you on the internet. you are probably never going to hear these things from me in particular, but I'm sure there's someone else who's also saying similar things about you, because that's what happens when you're on reality TV. And I'm very sorry that you have to deal with that. However, my feeling is that you're annoying.
My God. Yeah, Thomas is gonna watch this, and Kevin's gonna get another hate comment.
And it's fine. It's fine. Not everyone has to be friends with everyone. There's 8 billion people in the world. We're not going to like everyone, and that's fine. And Thomas is just not somebody that I'm meant to be friends with, I don't think. Unless I like meet him someday in person and it turns out that he's amazing, which is entirely possible. I mean, he got picked for the show. Somebody likes him. So I don't want to be hateful of him as a person, but his character on the show is not someone that I want to see win.
Thomas is now going to go into the comments and say 46 is amazing.
Yeah. Thomas 48 is going to be like, whatever. 46 is an amazing season.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's one of the funniest comments I've ever read. If you like 46, good on you. It's not our favorite season.
Not my favorite season.
No, I don't like that.
On the upside, 47 was great, and this is shaping up really well so far.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So,
I enjoyed these last 2 episodes. And
just the fact that, like, from the pregame, we thought people like Stephanie and Kevin were going to be good, and it turns out that they're not. Right? Like,
right. Exactly.
In a way that is satisfying. In a way where, like, I'm like invested, not where I'm just like, you lied to me. I'm like,
yeah, it's going to be fun moving forward. So we'll be back next week for episode 3 of Survivor 48 among all the other stuff. So definitely go subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And we will see you all next time on the Tribe of Nerds.
Fuck you, Sarah.